So what makes you, you? Is it your body, your mind, all your memories? It's a question that we've all probably asked ourselves, right? Well, today we're going to dig into a really fascinating answer, and get this, it's over 1,600 years old.
Okay, let's just jump right into the deep end here. What if your body turned to dust, and then that dust scattered to the wind? How could you ever be made whole again? Now, I know, it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but this is the exact problem that a thinker from the 4th century, a guy named Gregor of Nyssa, decided to tackle head-on. And what's wild is just how relevant his answer still feels today.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with that impossible question. Then we'll get into the core of the idea, the soul as this undying form. To make sense of it, we'll look at two really cool analogies he used, one about an artist and their colors, and another about a potter and their clay. Then we'll see how it all comes together, this idea of being remade, not just reassembled. And finally, we'll circle back to that big question. What makes you, you?
All right, so let's really set the stage. The impossible question. I mean, think about it from a purely physical, scientific point of view. It seems completely impossible, right? How could the universe possibly sift through, I don't know, every single atom just to find the exact ones that used to be a person?
And this is where our guide for this whole thing comes in, Gregor of Nyssa. Now, he was a philosopher who was just not afraid to go there, to tackle the absolute toughest questions about life, death, identity, you name it.
So how does he even begin to answer that impossible question? Well, he starts with a really radical idea about what the soul is. And honestly, this is the key that unlocks his entire way of thinking.
Okay, this is super important. When he talks about the soul, you gotta forget the whole ghost floating around idea. For him, the soul is more like the information, the pattern. It's the blueprint that makes your physical body your physical body. It's not just living inside you, it's the very thing that defines your form.
And you can see it in his own words right here. The idea is that even when all your atoms are scattered to the four winds, the soul holds on to the memory of that form. It's like it has a built-in homing signal for all its original parts, because, well, it's the thing that gave them their shape to begin with.
I know, that's a pretty abstract idea, right? The soul as a pattern. So to make it way more concrete, Gregor gives us this fantastic analogy. He wants us to imagine an expert painter, and not just any painter, but someone who has this deep, almost intuitive knowledge of all their materials. And that idea of expert knowledge is the absolute key here.
Okay, so check out this logic. An artist mixes a bunch of different colors into one big blend. Now, to you and me, it might just look like a murky brown. But the artist, because of their skill, they know exactly which original colors went into that mix. They can still see the red, the yellow, the blue. And because they know, they could, if they wanted to, skillfully separate them all out again. And that's the connection right there. The soul, in this view, is like the artist's knowledge. It knows its own unique colors, the specific atoms and elements that make up its body, no matter how mixed up they get in the great cosmic soup.
But he doesn't stop there. He gives us another really powerful metaphor. If the artist helps us understand how the pieces are known, the next one, about a potter, explains how they can be reformed. This one makes it so clear. Think about a broken jar. To us, it's just a pile of broken pieces. The jarness is gone. But to the potter who made it, they know that clay. They remember the form. They could gather up those exact same pieces and reshape them into the jar again. See, the identity isn't in the shattered bits. It's in the potter's knowledge of the original design.
And this quote really drives that home. The potter recognizes the type of crockery, even if it's smashed to pieces. The knowledge isn't lost. So even if the physical thing is destroyed, the idea of it, the form, is still perfectly preserved in the mind of the one who made it.
Okay, so when you put those two ideas together, the artist and the potter, you get to a really profound point. This whole process isn't just about gluing a broken pot back together.
This is the real twist. It's not about just putting the old pieces back together. We're moving way beyond simple repair here. We're talking about a total transformation. It's not about going back to a broken or worn-out version of yourself.
The whole point is what he calls the creation of a new man. It's not about reassembling the old you with all the cracks and chips. It's about using your unique original material and reforming it into a perfected version, guided by that flawless blueprint the soul has been holding on to the whole time.
All right, so let's just do a quick recap of the whole idea. The soul is the blueprint. It knows its own elements, just like an artist knows their colors. The creator can then reform the body from its original clay. And, crucially, the end result is a transformation, an upgrade, not just a simple reconstruction.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning, to that big question. What makes you, you?
So, why should we care about this 1,600-year-old idea? Well, think about it. It suggests that our identity isn't just our physical stuff. I mean, our cells are replaced all the time, right? Are you even the same person you were 7 years ago? If you're just your atoms, the answer is kind of no.
But according to this way of thinking, you aren't the stuff. You're the unique pattern, the form, the idea that holds all that stuff together. The atoms can come and go, but the pattern, the thing that is truly you, that endures.
And that's the final question I want to leave you with. So what are you? Are you just a temporary collection of atoms, here for a little while and then gone forever? Or are you an enduring pattern, just waiting to be expressed? It's a pretty wild thought, an ancient answer to a question that honestly feels more relevant now than ever before.